What is going on, guys? This is Joey Young coming at you with an update on the 60p. It's been a couple months and as you can see, it's very bare bone. Doing a couple things differently in this tank, mainly just getting some space for plants. I do have some new fishes in here, but yeah, let's get right into the update. Alright, so the first thing you'll notice is I removed the dragon stones in the tank. I ended up having to remove it just because I had my zebra plecos in here for quarantine slash healthiness check, whatever you want to say, for a while. And pretty much when it was time to catch them, I had to remove the stones to catch them. And then when I removed it, I was like, you know what, since it's already removed, I'm just gonna go and do kind of a empty tank like this and just keep plants. So all the rocks pretty much were removed. As you can notice, in here I was battling a lot of algae issues, but a lot of that has been resolved. But you know, there's still algae in the tank. You know, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with algae, but I did have a lot of black hair algae just in this tank in general, more than I would like. But the SAE there, as you can see, he's been doing a pretty good job in terms of control. Alright, so all these new little fish that I have swimming around are chili rasboras. I got about 15 or so of them. They've been doing pretty good. Again, they've been in quarantine in this tank as well, along with the zebras for a while. All of them, you know, look pretty healthy. Actually, these were the original fish that I was going to put in the 33 gallon with the zebra plecos, but I decided to go with the celestials just because they're a little bit bigger versus these guys here, and plus, you know, these guys are tiny anyways, so I decided to put them in a smaller tank. You know, that kind of makes a little bit more sense. Alright, so the Japan Shingas took a beating when I was quarantining the fish. So what I had to do was I pretty much didn't run CO2. So the plants transitioned to like not using CO2, and they took a beating and it started growing back, as you can see here. But now I'm transitioning it back to using CO2. So it's taking a second beating, and that's what happened with these two guys here. They didn't really make the third transition back, and they kind of like melted back, which is fine. These plants, if you guys ever want to try them out, they are very, very susceptible for just random changes. So just like, for example, if you grab this healthy one here and you put it in your tank, it's going to melt completely back. Plants are really prone to just complete melt back and then starting fresh in any new parameter or any new tanks. It's just kind of the luck of the draw. Sometimes they don't come back, sometimes they do, and you kind of have to roll the dice with those guys. Alright, so in the back are some stem plants. These are the original bonsai stem plants that were from the 125. Originally I couldn't really re-establish these plants in that bigger tank because the fish in there would just kind of like kick up the plants before it can root, or they'll just straight up eat the leaves. So what I did was I transferred it over here because I really like the look of the plant. It's really cool. Decided to try to regrow them back in this tank because, you know, there's not really much fish in here that'll eat them. In this corner here, hopefully that'll grow back for me, and probably, you know, I would say maybe 2 months or so. Hopefully that will be filled up nicely. And then on to the left side, there's a couple things, or actually two new species that's in the back. I'll have to pan it up in the front, but this is the Taiwan Moss that was wrapped around the rock. I just kind of just put it down here or else it's going to float. I held it down with some rocks. On the far left is my my other Erios. I basically trimmed a bunch of them and sold a bunch of them, and I just kept this last one here to see if I want to try to grow it somewhere else or leave it in here. I'm not really sure yet. That one's just chilling there in the left corner. In the far back, it is a rare sword. I forget the full name. It's a red bright star or something like that. I'll have to look it up and put it in the descriptions or put it in the video here for you guys. I'm looking for this plant because it's a smaller sword. It's not as big as your Amazon sword or whatever, but the colors are supposed to be really nice. So hopefully in about probably month or so again, we'll get some nice growth from this plant as well. Alright, so in the far back are my Ludwigia White stems. I moved them over in this tank because again, the fish in the 125 really just likes to devour any new plants and will not allow any new plants to establish. So I'm gonna try to grow them out here, and then once they grow pretty well, you know, I can try again by cutting a bunch of extra stems or whatever. So I got 6 stems back there just chilling. Hopefully they'll grow back, and I'll make a wall of that back there and a wall of the bonsais back here. All right, and then finally, I do have some Amanos in here just for algae control. I just basically had a bunch of Amanos that I originally bought for the other tank, and then I just put them in here because they had extras. So the plan for this tank is plants, obviously just growing plants out. But when I do, or if I do get any plecophrys, I'm gonna put them in here and just kind of raise them up. And when they get big enough, then I'm gonna put them in either the main tank or the display tank or whatever. Because, you know, if they're too small, they can't really get food, they can't really fend for themselves and whatnot. And in here, you know, there's not really much guys that they need to compete with anyways. So I think this would be a nice little grow out tank for the small little plecos. And also there's another fish that I want to try to get for this tank, but I can't really find it yet. So if I do ever get it, and it actually survives or whatever, I'll probably give you guys an update in the future video on another species. All right, so pretty much this tank went through some just straight up like hack and slash, but again, I'm not really too concerned because they'll bounce back in a couple months. So this is the update in the 60p. Until next time, guys, peace. Are you looking to take on the next challenge in the planet tank hobby? Then make sure to check out the Purely Aquatic Wabikusa Eco Ball. It's simple, unique, and easy to care for. This is the next level in the planet tank hobby, blending immerse and submerge plants together. Stop by the store at purelyaquatic.com to buy your own Eco Ball and rare plants.